You're tuned in to the DMV Hoops Podcast.
This is John Scribner, head girls basketball coach at St. John's College High School, and this is the DMV Hoops Podcast.
Welcome to the DMV Hoops Podcast, the DMV's home for high school basketball. Hosted by Kurt Cross and featuring Chelsea Cross. We bring you the latest news, interviews, rankings, recruiting buzz, and standout performances from the public and private school basketball scene across Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. Stream us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Buzzsprout, YouTube, and everywhere podcasts are heard. Now, let's get into it. Here's your host, Kurt Cross.
Welcome to the DMV Hoops Podcast. As always, I am Kurt Cross. With me, as always, is
Chelsea Cross.
We're at DMV Live. We're on the campus of the Napa Catholic High School, the Morgan and Kathy Wooten Gymnasium. Of course, we bring you the players and coaches, the stories, and all of that. We're going to bring someone back who's no stranger. Please welcome, from St. Stephen, St. Agnes, Mr. Andre Hunter. What's up, fella?
How's it going?
All right. The last time you and I talked, we were at Landon's gym. You were getting ready to play a game against Landon. And where we left off, you talked to me about how young your team is.
Yes.
So what are we looking forward to this year?
More the same. We got some guys back that have some varsity experience, but we got a lot of new guys. We got probably 5 or 6 new guys that have no varsity experience at all. Okay. You add that with a few freshmen, a few 8th graders that's coming up. We're still young. We're still growing. We're still trying to figure out who we are as an identity with this new group. It's a completely different team than it was last year. We were young last year, but we did have, Julian Burdoff. We had Marcus Hancock, who was seniors and kind of been through it. This year, the one guy that we had, Devin Ainsworth, kind of went down, so he's out right now. So everyone's finding a new role, finding a new spot. Got a new general on the floor. So, it's a learning process. This is what the summer's about, trying to figure out who we are, who they are, where they fit in, what they do well, what they don't do well. And as coaches, it's our job to go back and kind of put that together and put them in the best situation possible.
For some schools, it's a little more challenging than your school because you do have the middle school component. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. So schools that are just high school, they're trying to grab kids, whether they be local or not local, to come into their program. You have what we would call, quote unquote, a feeder system, right?
Somewhat.
All right. So how does that work for you? Is most of your talent coming in from the outside, or are you building it from within?
Pretty much all my talent is coming in from outside.
Okay.
For the most part, we do have some kids. It's not a bunch, but we do get a few kids that'll be in the 8th grade, 7th grade. They're pretty good. We got some kids, once again, that are in the 8th grade now, be 9th graders last year, that played JV for us as the 8th graders.
I saw some. There's one kid I seem to remember. He had a little game to him.
Yeah. They learn quickly, right?
Okay.
When you can kind of get kids like that, they're starting to be around the varsity guys, understand the lingo, understanding how we do things, what's expected. And they're in learning mode right now, right? They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to play as hard as they can, but at the same time, soak up as much information as possible. So we do have that. We need to do a better job probably of using that, right? But you know the environment. It's harder sometimes to keep some of those kids that are sticking around.
Don't get me started.
Yeah,
Don't get me started.
It's one of those, we kind of focus on the ones that want to be with St. Stephen's, right? And it's not a place for everybody. It's a place where it's unique, it's different, and everyone can't go and do well there. But if you do come and buy in and do the things you're supposed to do, you'll find success, right? We kind of make sure that that's the goal. Whether it's on the court or off the court, you find a way to be a better person at the end of the day.
And you found your way because you're an alum.
Absolutely.
All right. So. Let me ask you this. Each year, I don't know what direction I want to go in. I want you to only talk about what you can talk about. But the landscape is fascinating. I was just outside a minute ago. I was coming from the other gym. I walked in, and at what point is it going to wear on me that all the transfers, all the this, that, and the other? For me, I love the game, but St. Stephen, St. Agnes is a school in the IAC. Landon, Episcopal, Bullets. You have these schools. Not every school is doing it the right way. I don't need you to call anybody out, but how hard is that to continue to build your program in this climate?
I mean, it's difficult, but it's one of those things as coaches, and I challenge my coaches as well. Like, we got to find the right kids. Right? The goal is to find kids that want to be in the program, that want to buy into the things that you do. I think if you stick to who you are, you stick to what you do, and you're solid in that, and you're not changing every year to try to just attract kids,
Right.
then you find the right kids at the end of the day. Everybody have their own method of how they recruit. I love it, right? Like, I think kids should have an opportunity to find where they fit in, right? Sometimes they're kids. They might make the wrong decision early on and feel like, hey, I need to go over here to make a better situation for myself. And at the end of the day, that's the environment, right? I've gotten used to it. I know a lot of older people don't like it, right? They want you got to stay here and do it. Like, at the end of the day, if I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do and putting you in the right situation, you're not going to want to leave, right?
Okay.
But at the same time, sometimes we do a really good job, and you go off and you got bigger, better opportunities. Like, who am I to stop you from doing that, right? Who am I to say, hey, no, you need it? Like, no, it's a different environment. They're doing it in college now, and it's rippling down to high school where guys are just trying to find an opportunity, which I think, in a sense, it's smart for some kids. Where find out where you're gonna get on the floor, right?
Okay.
Like, it's not always about going and sitting and watching and waiting. There's a lot of schools out here that can actually use some of these kids that are sitting and waiting and watching. Now, and there's some kids that need to sit and wait and watch, and when they wait their turn and then they get their opportunity, it's golden for them, right? So it's a fine line you got to walk when you start to look at how long do I wait, or do I get out now, or even you taking the risk of saying, hey, the next situation is a better situation. That's not always the case. So, I've gotten used to it. I got adapted to it. Luckily, we're not a school that lose a lot of kids to other schools because, once again, we try to make sure we get the right kids. You got to want to be here for the right reasons. And if you're not, right, we're not going to recruit it. We're not going to want it. We're not going to have it. Like, if you're looking to just kind of use us to springboard to somewhere else, it's not the place. It's not going to work. Academically, it's too hard. It's too hard to get into the school. It's a lot of things that go into getting a kid at St. Stephen's versus some of the other schools. It's a little easier that we can't even waste the time or the effort to try to go after a kid that we know he gonna only be here for a year and leave. Even though he might come in and do well, he might come in, we might get some other kids because of him. We might have a great year. All that's cool, but we want to make sure that we stay grounded in who we are and what we're doing, and let it work out that way.
Well, I have a few questions for you. First, how do you like that Hayfield has been added as a summer league location and you don't have to travel so far?
I mean, it's a 50-50 for me as a coach. I love it. We're right there, but I do have kids that are in the Maryland side where, the math is easier, right? I do have kids on the Virginia side that Hayfield's easier, right? So I love the blend of being able to sometimes it's here, sometimes it's there.
We ain't seen you all summer.
And we've been over there. I told Morgan to keep us over there. Definitely early, right? It's a little easier to get to for most of the kids. A lot of the coaches that work on that side, we can get there a little quicker. I think it's good. I love personally that you get a full-size court over there, right? You get to actually play on a real court. So, it has its advantages.
Nice, and I'm wondering, Summer League and this, why did you feel that it was important for your team to do both of these events?
Well, Summer League is building, right? Like I said, we got young kids. They got to play. We can practice all day long. We can go through drills. We can do all that every day, all day. But until they actually play and see how does it work out, how to play together, how to move off each other, you get live action that you're not going to get in practice. You get live action that you're not going to get in workouts. And then one thing I think these kids don't do is play enough, right? And just play basketball and figure it out. So the Summer League is just for that, right? Young guys coming in and getting some varsity experience, getting to understand the pace of the game, understanding that, hey, this senior's stronger than you, figuring out how to get through that, right? Like, there's a lot of learning that goes on in the summer where, we want to win. We're here to win. We want to fight. We want to do all those things. But I think for our team, the biggest thing is learning to play, because our goal is always to be playing in March. Our goal was always to be good in February, not June and July.
If I'm a family and I'm looking at St. Stephen, St. Agnes, I'm looking at Episcopal, I'm looking at Bullis, why do I want my kid playing for Andre Hunter?
You just said it. I'm Andre Hunter.
That's it.
That bottom line.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something. That's the second answer like that we've gotten. I asked a kid earlier, I won't mention the school, that podcast will come out in a couple weeks, and I said, what's different between that area's schools and from last year, this year? He said, me, I'm here now.
Hey,
right? So I don't mind that confidence.
At the end of the day, that's what it is, right? We work too hard, right? I mean, we work hard. We put the work in. We put the hours in. We make sure that we put these kids in situations where, even if we're not as talented as we have been, like, we're going to fight. We're going to rumble, right? Like, at the end of the day. So That's all we care about. So our track record speaks for itself. Like, kids that come play for us do well on and off the court. It's like every single one of them. We got pros now. We got guys that are still in college now, right? And it's not always the high-profile kids. It's the kids that we built to that point, right? Very rarely do we get the 4 or 5 stars that come in and that no matter where they go, they're gonna go to college. We got kids that we gotta build. We gotta put the work in and make them who they need to be later on in life and later on to be ready to play at college. So, seeing that happen over and over again, it's the confidence we put in ourselves, the confidence we put in our kids, where if you do the right things, good things happen.
We talk about this from year to year. You were with us last year, you're with us this year. I hope we get you next year, and it's going to even evolve further. No longer is the DMV strictly about the WCAC.
No.
It's the IAC, it's the MAC, and the girls' side, it's the ISL. It's a lot of different. What do you think is shrinking that gap now? Because the IAC is not to be messed with.
It's the what we talked about earlier, right? Kids are starting to realize there's more opportunity out there. You got to think about it. A few years ago, when Eric was at Bullets, we had the only McDonald's All-American in the area, in the IAC, right? Where you can be at certain schools and still get what you want to get out of this, but you got to be in good situations, right? And the IAC is famous for that, right? Every year you look across the IAC, we got one of the top players in the area,
right?
Regardless, right? And when you have that, it makes other guys play harder. It makes other teams play harder. It pushes us as coaches to try to figure things out. So I think a lot of the talent are starting to see that I don't have to go one way or the other. I got options, right? And then, kids want to play. They want to play. Like, how many kids can you play in one school? Right? Only 5 kids can play at a time. You're probably only rotating 8 of them total.
Right.
And if you're not one of the 8, do you wait and sit, or do you go find where you can play? And the IAC has just been great for kids to come and have an opportunity to play, have an opportunity to show what they can do. Like I said, we play all the WCAC schools. We play all, we're in these same events. We're in these same tournaments. So I think kids are starting to see that, right? I think they're starting to see the success of Bullets nationally, seeing the success of Bullets in their kids, seeing how well Episcopal's been playing the last 2 years. Probably going to be one of the better teams in the area. Seeing how we have done things over the year, right? Even Landon, Landon and Almonds, like, they can compete with most of the teams. Like, there's no team in the IAC that can't compete with teams out here. And I think people and kids and parents are starting to see that, right? Like,
I saw opening game last year, and everyone's a little rough in the beginning. Landon took Gonzaga, I think, to overtime.
Yeah.
Right? And then, what was it, in Mayhem? Or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see that. Obviously, my son's at Landon, so I see more of those games.
Yeah.
But when you got Prep won the IAC.
Yeah.
Landon took them to overtime twice.
Yeah.
And Episcopal, they didn't fare so well in that final game, but
But it's still, the talent's there, right? Like, across the board. Like,
Majok had a triple-double.
Yeah,
yesterday,
the
right?
talent's there, right? And you look at it like, this is what the IACs were built on, right? Like, how many of those kids were highly recruited kids? How many of those kids that every school in this area were chasing? And that's what I respect more about the IAC, is that I know for a fact the coaches are working. I know for a fact they're putting the work in, because none of us are getting like the absolute cream of the crop. We're getting good kids, but it's, can you put it together? Can you get the right kids at the right time? Can you get the right pieces that play together? And I think that's what drives me as a coach in the IAC, is that I know that has to happen. I know you have to have a good team. You're not going to win because you got one guy, right? You're not going to win because this guy is really good. He's going to help you, but you got to get those other guys to play well. You got to get those other guys involved. You got to figure out how to make them part of the game, part of the team. And then you look around, it's like, it's always, who was that kid? Where'd he come from? Right? Oh, he in IAC? Like, it's a lot of times that happens where kids go from unknown to known because they're in the right situation.
The IAC MAC Challenge, where's it going to be this year?
I don't know.
It was Sidwell last year.
It was Sidwell last year. And I will put that out there, wherever it's at, you got a big trophy, a big thing to top with Sidwell. They set the standard last year, so I'm just putting that out there.
Okay, whoever's hosting, you've been put on notice. Here's what's his name's father. That's James Wood's father from Major League Baseball, from the Washington Nationals. Coach, I ask every coach this, so I'll ask you this. If we come to St. Stephen, St. Agnes in November, What are we going to see? What are you going to show us?
I mean, you're gonna see kids that just play hard, willing to buy in, willing to do the little things, right? We're super heavy on the details of the little things. We don't worry so much about all the results and how things are going, because we really believe if you continuously do the little things over and over and over again, you'll win, right? Our goal is always to win every possession. Every battle we want to win. Just as little as catching the ball and creating space early, I won. They catch the ball, making them take a step back, I won, right? Like, we try to focus on that. So you're going to see what we always try to preach, right? You're going to see guys that play hard, guys that playing together, the ball moving, a lot of communication, a lot of things that help teams win basketball games. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fast-paced. It's going to get up and down. We're going to take some shots. We're going to take some early shots. We're going to take some bad shots. We're going to take a lot of good shots. But at the end of the day, the one thing I want people to leave the gym and say is that team plays hard, right? Like, every single minute of the game.
I want to make sure that I thank you, because you always seem to have time for a conversation.
Absolutely.
I see you in the gym before your game. It might be 8 minutes on the clock before y'all get ready to play. You have time for a conversation.
Absolutely.
It seems like, from what I know, you and I haven't hung out, we haven't broken bread together, but every time I talk to you, it's like you're pouring into these kids. You're buying into these kids. And you and I both know that some of them won't play basketball beyond their St. Stephen's years.
Yeah.
But if you're preparing them beyond that, then you've done your part. So I thank you for that, because for some of these youngins, you're the role model.
Yeah.
You're that guy, right? For some of these kids. Chelsea, what do you want to say before we let this gentleman go?
One last question. We asked the players this, and we're going to ask you this. Players are expected to come back in the next season with something new, a new skill that they've added. What have you added to your coaching game?
I think my timeout adjustments has gotten better, right? I kind of really focus on that, of being able to draw things up, the timeouts a little bit better, being better with the board at times to be able to explain it in the 60 seconds or the 30 seconds, kind of knowing what I want to get out of that. I didn't think I did a great job last year doing it. The year before, it probably wasn't as good, but I had Riley Jacobs and those guys, so it was a little easier, right? Getting unexperienced guys and other guys with little varsity experience. As a coach, you try to start to see how can you make them better. I think for me, that's the biggest thing this year, is kind of just making sure that I use my timeouts well. I use my time in that timeout a lot better, and explaining things a lot better to these young kids so they can understand.
Well, Coach, we look forward to a great season in the IAC. If nothing else, I know I'll see you over there when he's playing tennis, or I'll see you when you come to Landon, because it's going to be a home and home, right?
Absolutely.
All right, and we thank you, Mr. Andre Hunter, St. Stephen's, St. Agnes.
Thanks for tuning in to the DMV Hoops Podcast, your home for high school basketball coverage across the DMV. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube, Buzzsprout, and everywhere podcasts are heard. Follow us on Instagram and X at DMV Hoops Podcast. The DMV Hoops Podcast is hosted by Kurt Cross, featuring Chelsea Cross. Thanks for listening.